Good afternoon, everybody. You know, I've been through hell and high water today to try and get a video for you. Now, I was going to go up into Oldham on the edge. There's a lot of info about the edge, and I was gonna do this video, but we got halfway through it, and the heavens opened, and that's all right. You know, you can. Oh, sorry. You can. You know, you can use a brolly, but it was absolutely fleeing, and I just thought I can't. I'll have to just do it another day. But I was determined that I wanted to bring a video, and I thought, you know what? Based on one particular grave that I've just discovered recently. Sorry, my film is all over. I'm not looking through the camera. I thought, you know what? There's actually a lot I know. To be fair, that's been mentioned in other videos, but I've never done like a collation. Is it collation? I don't know. So anyway, I've never done a video which incorporates all of what I know about some of the graves in this graveyard. Now, there are some people that are still a bit of an anomaly to me because for whatever reason I can't find much about them. One thing I have sort of discovered about, you know, you look at these massive monuments and you think, my God, you know, these must be a story behind everybody in here, which, you know, there really is. You know, there's a story behind everybody, isn't there? Some of them I'll tell you about. But most of these people, they had money, but they were all cotton spinners. And, you know, back in the early days, Oldham, now I'm not an authority on this, but I think there were a lot of people who basically rented space in mills. So you'd have a mill, and these cotton spinners would rent space in there, and they'd go in and they'd spin cotton, I imagine, you know, and earn a lot of money from it. So that's where the majority of the wealth came from in Oldham, from the rag trade, you could call it, I suppose. And then obviously there's industry such as the Platts up there, which we'll go to in a bit. You know, they had the world's largest. Anyway, so we'll start at the bottom, and what we're going to do is we're going to work our way up to the top. I'll tell you as much as I can about the graves, and what I would say, encourage everybody, if there is something that I mentioned about these people that you think is not right, or if you know something that I've not mentioned, then please put comments down below and let me know, because obviously I'm still learning, and you know, it's great to hear things about people that I've got an interest in, you know. I thought, right, so listen, I'm going to shut up, I'm going to go to the first grave now, and we'll take it from there. Right, so we're going to start off at the grave of Eli Lee's. Now, Eli Lee's was the son of a very successful businessman called Samuel Lees. Now, he had two brothers. One was called Job and the other was called Asa. But Eli, he was the most successful in business out of all the brothers. If you look at his tomb, it says of 102 Lancaster Gate, London, and Werneth Park. So you know the big house that's in Werneth Park, that was his home basically. But yeah, Eli Lee's, he made his money through the cotton trade, as I just explained then. A majority of these people did. He's buried with his wife. Looks like she was Welsh. She died at West Home, Werneth. I wonder if that was the old name for the Parks house. Probably not. I'll look into that. But anyway, yeah, Eli, he, oh God, he was an handsome man. Really good looking. Really good, you know, really successful in business. Now his son Charles, I think he was married to Sarah Lees, who was the first mayoress of Oldham. She was married to someone called Charles Lees, and if you look at the years, and it's about right. But yeah, his son Charles, who doesn't seem to be in this tomb, I don't know where he's buried, but he was one of the founders of Oldham Art Gallery. And actually, if you look in the gallery, there's quite a lot of watercolour paintings that he gave to the gallery to get it going. There's also a picture of Charles, I'll put that up, but check out that picture of Eli, because I'm telling you now, he was, oh my God, such an handsome man. I think, do I sound weird saying that about someone who lived over 100 years, 150 years ago, but it's true. So, okay, so this is Eli. We're going to move on to the next one. Now we're coming to the grave of Sergeant John Hogan, VC, Victoria Cross. Interesting story about John. Basically, he went to war, and while he was there, he and another colleague basically took on about 20 German soldiers. They took the trench, and him and his colleague, whose name I can't remember, I'll apologise, but I'll put it in, they basically decided that they weren't having it, and they were gonna take the trench back. So they took them on, and they won. You know, they did. They took the trench, and you know, they said it was a remarkable feat, and for that he was given the VC. Now, he did live. He came back to Oldham, and he didn't have any work. Before he went to war, he was a postman, but when he came back, there wasn't anything for him. So he ended up living on, he ended up working on the streets of Manchester, selling matches. You know, no one, I don't think there was any social security back then. So in case of you either worked or you died, you know, that were it. You were toast. Interesting thing as well about this grave is John's actually buried with his wife, but also his wife's ex-husband and their son, not John's son, his wife and her ex-husband, I believe. Wonderful man, did a great job for the country. He's got a plaque up in Oldham Church commemorating him, and also the 2 other Victoria Cross receivers from Oldham. Okay, so we visited this grave in a previous video. It's all overgrown with this bush. I will pull it back in a second. But this is the grave of an Oldham man called John Bunting. Now, he used to live on Union Street in Oldham. I think it's Corley's solicitor. May have that wrong. Just down near the Crown Office. And John Bunting, there's a plaque actually outside the house. But basically, this is his stone. I mean, someone's planted this bush a long while ago, and it's grown into this magnificent bush, but unfortunately it's covered the stone on the front. But John Bunting was the wealthiest mill owner in Oldham. I think he started his career stocks and shares and other bits and pieces, and then he invested. I might stand corrected on that, but yeah, he ended up investing in mills anyway. Remember what I was saying before about the cotton spinners, where they used to sort of rent space? Well, John Bunting had the largest, he was the richest mill owner in Oldham. Quite a nice, interesting looking fella. He's got a nice happy face, but apparently he was a bit of a tyrant. But I don't know, you only go off what you're told, don't you? But yeah, he was a bit of a tyrant, very, very hard-headed in business. But you know, to be the wealthiest, I suppose you have to be the most ruthless, don't you? So that's John Bunting. Okay, so now we're at the grave of James Platt, Esquire, MP. Now, James died, I think he was about 37 when he passed away. Again, I've spoken about him before, but James is the older brother of John Platt. Now, John Platt is buried up there, but we'll go to that in a minute. But James Platt was the older brother of John Platt. Now, he was an MP for Oldham. They built a shooting lodge up by, God, what's that reservoir called? The big reservoir in Oldham. I can't remember the name of it. It's just gone completely out of my head. I'll have to put it in because I can't remember it. I don't know why. But they built a shooting lodge up there called Ashway Gap. And the Mayor of Oldham, Josiah Radcliffe, I don't know if he was mayor at the time, but he was a family member and a friend. And he went shooting with James Platt at the lodge up at the reservoir, and he fell on a rock and blew James's calf off. They ended up carrying back to the shooting lodge, Ashway Gap, which was also used in some films in the late 70s, or in the 70s. It was owned by the Water Board in the end. They've levelled it now, it's gone. But yeah, James was taken back, he was carried back to the lodge, he was laid out, went up the stairs, laid out on a bed, and they sent for doctors from Stalybridge, Manchester, Oldham. Don't forget they didn't have cars then, so they're all coming on horseback, but there was nothing they could do. He died at a really young age, and actually it was his brother John then that carried on, became an MP, and you know, was the owner of Platt Brothers. Love them wood pigeons. Oh, well, I hope you're liking this video, everyone. I did want to do something for you, and I thought it's a safe bet. If I'm in the cemetery, then I can use my trusted umbrella and film under that. But so far, so good. Seemed to be okay. There was a tree I wanted to show you. Oh, there it is. Look at it. Wait for these people to pass. Hang on. Look how unusual that is. It's grown up and then completely out to the side. I don't know, I don't even know it stays upright. Right, now here we're coming up to the grave of John Dodd. John Dodd, self-made man. He started his life working for John Platt at Platt Brothers, and he worked his way all the way up to, I think he was managing director or something like that. I know John Platt was obviously the overall owner, but John Dodd worked his way up to basically to be the boss. And he lived at the Hollies in Werneth, which is the, if you look on my channel there's a video about the Hollies, but most people know it. It's the house that's basically falling down now, or started to fall down. One of the interesting things about John's grave is this little insignia on the side, his crest. And if you look, it's got holly, and then it's got holly at the bottom, and then this looks like what they used to use for the Cooperative Society. I don't know if he had something to do with the Cooperative Society, but these two symbols here, definitely something to do with cooperative, unless someone could put me straight. Now, John had two wives. His first wife died. She was ill for a long time. And his second wife was Mary Dodd. She was actually his nurse. Sorry, she was actually his first wife's nurse. Now, she married him, and when John died, he left her something to the tune of, I think it was something like 17 million in today's money. But she only lived a year. She's not actually buried in here. She's buried in Ireland, I believe. Now there's another one that I wanted to show you over here. This is interesting. Now, I've not got a lot of information on this subject. I did receive some information today which prompted me probably to come down and do this video. But this is a chap called Wilde. Now, he started off working in the mills, and then he went into press, paper press, and if you look, it says the founder of the Oldham Evening Express. So this paper actually came after the Chronicle. I think it was founded in 1865, or its first press was 1865. I've not really got much information, unfortunately, on it yet, but I'll keep digging. Kind lady at Oldham Historical Society was kind enough to send me some information on that, and I'll see if I can dig up some more info, but I just didn't have the time before I came out because of the light. But I wanted to show you. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? You know what? Oh, I really find interesting. This man died in 1877. All of this was carved by people all them years ago. I just find it miraculous. That one has lost its head, unfortunately. Right, let's move on. Starting to rain. Oh, buggering it. Now this particular grave was going to be a story all on its own, but I think it's probably apt that I just do the story in this one. This is a really interesting one. So James Norman, years ago, you know, you've seen the film The Greatest Showman. These people, they used to put together acts that would tour. They were travellers basically, and they had acts and they would travel the country, charge people to come in, and James was living in Oldham when he passed away. He was living on the Tommyfield Market, and basically he got flu, and the flu basically killed him. He got pneumonia and he died. He was living in a travelling wagon on Tommyfield Market. Now when he died, the travelling community came together. People were travelling from all over the UK to come and pay their respects to this man. He was well thought of. He was a very, very kind man, and people looked up to him. There was a tale of you know, like if you can imagine a strong, bulky traveller type, you know, no nonsense fella. At James's funeral, he was crying, sobbing, couldn't stop himself from sobbing. But I don't think he died with a great deal of money, but basically what happened was, once he died, they got together. I think they called it the Norman Fund. In fact, they did. These group of travellers got together with the Norman Fund, and they basically got together the money to build this monument for him. Now the original monument actually had a picture of his it had a bust of his head on the top. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little knob where it would have sat, but that was stolen back in the 60s, unfortunately, so we don't know where that is. Now I got this information from one of his descendants, and she's very kindly sent me some pictures which I'll have put in for you as well. Most of the people that I've featured, apart from Eli, because I've not done a video on Eli, but most of the people that I featured in this video I've done videos on. So if you was interested, you could basically go and you know, check those out and see what you think. The other thing I'd like to say as well, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you watch my videos, would you be so kind as to press that button? I know my subscriber count's going up all the time. I looked at my Google Analytics and it said that 75% of the people that watch the videos don't subscribe, so you know, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it would be great for the channel if you could, because it just means we can get out to see more people. And that's it. Thank you for watching from rainy Chadderton, and I will see you in the next one.